why did you fire the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics?
Because I think her numbers were wrong. Just like I thought her numbers were wrong before the election. Days before the election, she came out with these beautiful numbers for Kamala. I guess Biden/Kamala. And she came out with these beautiful numbers trying to get somebody else elected. Then right after the election, I think on the 15th, November 15th, she had an $800,000 or $900,000 massive reduction. Said she made a mistake. I have a open spot on the Federal Reserve Board. I'm very happy about that, John.
U.S. stocks slumped on Friday, with the Dow dropping about 1.25%, the S&P 500 shedding 1.6%, its biggest daily percentage decline in more than 2 months, and the Nasdaq sliding about 2.25%. Stocks opened lower after President Donald Trump announced a wave of steeper-than-expected tariffs on several trading partners. Meanwhile, data showing a major slowdown in U.S. job growth further dented investor confidence. Sharp downward revisions to May's and June's jobs numbers proved particularly unnerving, notes Rick Gardner, Chief Investment Officer at RGA Investments.
That was where I felt like we were in peak uncertainty. We had tariffs, we had whether or not the tax code was going to get extended, the situation with Iran. There were a lot of things going on, and uncertainty tends to cause maybe a little bit of reluctance if you're an employer when making hiring decisions. So I think it's interesting that as we get these revisions, those numbers are receding back. And it may really be giving the Fed the opportunity that it's been looking for to drop rates.
In fact, market expectations that the Fed will cut rates at its September meeting soared to more than 86% from about 38% in the prior session, according to CME's FedWatch tool. Among Friday's stock moves, Amazon was the biggest drag on all 3 of Wall Street's main indexes, spiraling more than 8% after the company failed to meet lofty expectations for its Amazon Web Services cloud computing unit. And shares of Apple lost 2.5% after the iPhone maker posted a current quarter revenue forecast well above Wall Street estimates, but CEO Tim Cook warned U.S. tariffs would add $1.1 billion in costs over the period.
U.S. President Donald Trump fired the commissioner of the Labor Department's Bureau of Labor Statistics, Erika McEntarfer, on Friday, after data showed weaker-than-expected employment growth in July and massive downward revisions to the prior 2 months' job counts. Trump accused McEntarfer, who was appointed by former President Joe Biden in 2023, of faking the jobs numbers.
I've had issues with the numbers for a long time, but we're doing so well. I believe the numbers were phony, just like they were before the election, and there were other times. So you know what I did? I fired her. Right.
There is no evidence to back Trump's claims of data manipulation by the BLS, the statistical agency that compiles the closely watched employment report as well as consumer and producer price data. The BLS did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Economists, labor unions, and Democratic Party leaders criticized the firing as an attempt by the Trump administration to manipulate data and warned of lasting damage to the economy. The economy created only 73,000 jobs in July. Data for May and June were revised sharply down to show 258,000 fewer jobs created than had been previously reported. Economists attributed the sharply slower job growth to Trump's trade and immigration policies, saying uncertainty about tariff levels had made it difficult for businesses to plan long term.
fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.